Welcome back to uh, Benjamatic Storytelling Hour, or, or Never Satisfied, whatever you like. Uh, I really have a lot of admiration for the guys that are making these fantastic YouTube videos that are an hour or 2 hours long that have all kinds of different things in them, because making YouTube videos, other than just doing it on your phone like I'm doing right here, making YouTube videos and using a film editor, it's really difficult. Uh, it's I've been trying to find a film editor that will upload a video to YouTube without any trouble, and I have not done that yet. Uh, I've spent hours working with video editors, only to just be totally frustrated and ready to pull my hair out. And as you can see, it's not, I don't have that much hair left to pull out. But anyway, uh, I'm still looking. And my nephew, uh, works in Hollywood as a filmmaker, he and I talk all the time, and he's not real familiar with video editing. He spent all of his life making films, but he's an animator, so he knows vast amounts of information about that. But we're trying to just find a film editing program that uh, an idiot can run. That's someone that has absolutely no experience in film editing. So anyway, uh, I got close. I worked this weekend, all weekend, on a video, and finally just gave up on it because it was too difficult. But there's another there's another video editing program that looks promising, and I'm going to tell you something, guys. It basically comes down to this: if you're going to use a free editing program that doesn't cost anything, you just download it, it's going to be incredibly difficult to make that work for you. I think it's pretty well known that if you're going to get a video editing program that works, you're going to have to pay. So they've actually got me now to the point I'm so frustrated, I'm ready to give up my hard-earned money for a working video editor. And so if anybody has any information that they would like to pass on to me about a video editing program that's inexpensive and works really well, that's compatible with YouTube, I would really like to know that. One of the difficulties is that YouTube platform is very picky about what they accept as far as files are concerned. The files, everything has to be just right, or YouTube won't accept it. And I don't blame them for that, because they have a great system and it works really well. So you just have to comply with what they want. And that's what I'm trying to do, and it's really, really hard. Now, I'm sitting here making a video on my phone. Excuse me. Sitting here making a video on my phone. It's going to work fine. It's going to work perfect, because when I'm done with it, I'm going to upload to YouTube. It's going to take me about 20 minutes, and it will be perfect. But I don't have any other still pictures in it. I don't have any other foreign files that I've brought in to look at. You have to create pure MP4 files to make it work. It says it will accept JPEG for your still pictures, but if you mix MP4 with JPEG, it's really difficult. So I'm looking for a video editor that will do that. They say that you can find an editor that will take your program with your still pictures and your videos and wrap it all up in an MP4 package, and YouTube will accept it. Well, I'm not there yet. So, but that being said, I just wanted to say congratulations to those guys that have conquered this already. I mean, I'm in awe after weeks of working on this. So I thought tonight I would tell you a little bit about my first car that I owned. It's an old car. You know, my folks didn't have a lot of money, and we weren't what you would call poor, but we weren't rich either by far. I mean, we had ample for our needs, but not a lot of money to go around. So when I turned 16, my father, being an avid car nut, he wanted me to have a car, and because he knew how much I loved cars. So he took me out to a car lot in East Tulsa, and he found a 1946 Ford two-door sedan on the back row. I mean, I think this car was behind the back row. It had a broken transmission. So I paid $90 for the car, and he knew that I had helped my friend put a transmission in his car, which was a similar year Ford. So he knew that I could do it. So he plunked down the money, and we took the car home with no second gear. Now, that should have been a red flag. I'm going to tell you why. I'm a teenage boy. I'm not going to be driving around like an old grandma. I'm going to be ripping and jamming gears. That's what teenage boys do. Well, they did then. I don't know what they do now, but I see a lot of them riding electric scooters. But that's a story for another day. When we were kids, we wanted a car or a motorcycle. You wouldn't be caught dead on a scooter. I mean, come on. Or a bicycle. You know, it had to be something with a motorized vehicle. You know, so it had to be something that was motorized. So anyway, we took the car home. I got a wrecking. I had some photography equipment that I had gathered up. Was given to me by a guy who was operating a dark room in his house, and he said, "I don't want any of this anymore." So he gave it to me in case I wanted to do photography and set up a dark room in my house. Well, it just so happened that I could get about enough money out of this darkroom equipment to buy a transmission for my car. So I sold the darkroom equipment and bought a transmission. Got the first transmission in that car, and it worked really well. But didn't take me long to break it. I broke it pretty quick. I don't know how long I drove it before I broke it, but one of my forays into street racing, wrapped it up in first gear, slammed in the second, kaboom, end of that story. So, long story short, the length of time I owned that car was a couple of years, maybe at the max, and I think in that time I put 13 transmissions in that car before I finally gave up on it. But that's, again, back to the fact that I really had no money. I was working flipping burgers after school to earn money, and trying to keep that old car on the road, and an old car that didn't want to be on the road. So anyway, I acquired the basic tools to keep that car on the road, and one of the basic tools you had to have back in those days, because tires were terrible, and it's not any different today. You would buy tires, cost a lot of money, and flipping burgers after school ain't going to buy a lot of tires. So I had tire changing equipment, I had a couple of tire irons and uh, a tire pump, and I had vulcanized tire patches to patch the tube and all this stuff. I could take the tire off that car, break it down, pull the tube out and patch it, put it back on in about 30 minutes, top. I did that 12 times in one day. That's how bad my tires were. So I finally figured out how to buy some new tires. They weren't new. I think I probably got them out of a wrecking yard. But I finally got 4 pretty good tires on the car, which I wasn't changing tires all the time and changing flats all the time. And as long as I drove like a sane person, the transmissions worked pretty good, So, but driving like a sane person just didn't happen all that much. I don't know why. I just like to drive that car, drive the snot out of that car, and it just wouldn't take it. It was those old cars just wouldn't take that kind of abuse. So anyway, I put up with it. I learned how to keep the transmissions in it after a while, but let's say I learned how to make the space longer between replacing transmissions. And in between then, I did some cosmetic things to the car. I lowered the front, lowered it in the front, and put some nice looking wheel covers on it, and had the chrome taken off the deck, and then I primered it black, and kind of spruced up the interior a little bit. Took the Ford instruments out of it because they were kind of plain looking. And I got all the instruments out of a 1948 Mercury and put in it. They were stainless steel. They looked really slick in there. So I changed out all the instruments and got a transmission out of an old Ford truck with a four shift. And so that stayed in there quite a long time, the 4 shift. Seemed to be a little stronger than a car transmission. But I just kept on doing little things to the car to make it a little bit better. But I actually took a car that should have been in the wrecking yard and put it back on the road, made it look pretty good, and made a driver out of it. Needless to say, it actually ran really good. I'll tell you a funny story about that. I had a friend of mine that was a pretty crazy guy, and he lived in East Tulsa. I lived in West Tulsa. He actually grew up on my street, and when we got to be teenagers, his family moved to East Tulsa. And his father gave him a 1951, 52 Cadillac Coupe de Ville for his first car. Yeah, they obviously had more money than my dad did. So he got a Cadillac for his first car. I got a back row Ford for mine. So I went to visit him at his house in East Tulsa one day, and on the way back, he really liked my Ford for some reason. That Cadillac was a beautiful car, big black, beautiful Cadillac Coupe de Ville. But for some reason, he liked that crazy old Ford of mine. So he says, when we go back out to West Tulsa, we get on the bypass, I want to race. I said, sure. I never turned down a race. So we get on the bypass, and think we're going about 40, 45 miles an hour rolling start. And so we decided we were going to go. Believe it or not, that silly old Ford of mine pulled away from that Cadillac about a half a car length and maintained it. He couldn't pass me. He couldn't catch me. And lo and behold, he when he sold that Cadillac and bought a 48 Ford like mine. I told you he was crazy. That's the sign of crazy. So, in the meantime, I hadn't seen him quite a while. In the meantime, I decided I was going to buy a nicer car. So I bought a 1950 Chevrolet Bel Air hardtop. Got a really nice car. Nice interior, nice paint, modern, nice and modern. So the next time I see Tom, he wants a rematch. He wants to race my Chevrolet with his 48 Ford. I said, okay, let's do it. But I got to go back a little bit, about a month. After I got that Chevy, not too long after I got that Chevy, I was driving down the boulevard and a crazy old guy pulled out of a bar and hit me in the side and crunched in the right rear quarter panel. And I had the insurance check for it, but I had not made any arrangements to get it done, get it fixed. So Tom wants a rematch. So we line up out on the freeway, on the bypass again. I think my Chevy's going somewhere between 80 and 90 miles an hour, and bam, a rod went right through the side of the block. So he was pretty happy. He won the race and he ruined my car. So I dragged the old Chevrolet home, and I decided, well, it's better to put a motor in it is fix the dent. So I went out to the junkyard, bought another motor, put the motor in it, and put it back together, and sold it. I traded in on a 1950 Ford, and I think I took a really bad beating on that deal because a Chevrolet had a big dent in the side of it. But the Ford turned out to be a really good car. But and I kept that for several years, and it ran well. It ran well. I put dual exhaust on it. I put side pipes on it, lowered it, nice wheel covers, and it had a nice paint. So it was really, really nice. But I'm going to wrap the story up there because the 50 Ford goes into a whole new era of cars. But I wanted to tell you about my first car. And it was a typical 16-year-old's first car. It wasn't much to talk about, but I made it as good as I could with the money I had. There's another thing I've been thinking about recently. It's actually been on my mind for quite a while. I like cars, and I always have, as I've made that quite plain on my video. But cars today, they're safe, they're fantastic for safety. You can survive really big crashes and walk away from them. And they're powerful, they're fast, but they've got a problem. And that problem is showing up more and more. The manufacturers are building in, they have built-in obsolescence. The cars today have got so much equipment and so many gadgets and trinkets and self-driving. They do everything for you. But that stuff doesn't last long. I'm seeing reports of Volvos and pretty nice cars. Used to be very reliable cars. I see reports of these things like after 3 years or 4 years, the money it's going to take to make that thing work yet again is, excuse me, the money to fix that car, it's not worth it. And so the cars today, although they're beautiful, they're fast, they're safe, they're not going to last more than 3 or 4 years before everything starts coming down on them. And that's just not right. And also, too, excuse me, I got a little dry throat tonight. Another thing, too, is that they're so expensive. A nice sedan now is going to cost you almost $50,000. And I mean one that you really want to drive. Not going to last. $50,000 payment on for the terms on buying a $50,000 car is going to be like 7 or 8 years. The car is only going to last you 3 or 4. So after 3 or 4 years, the car is going to you're going to have to trade it. And you're going to be upside down in that car. And you're going to have to spend more money. And it's just a never-ending cycle of bad things. So the company, the manufacturers are really doing a number on their customers. I have a 2004 Cadillac sitting in my garage, a CTS with a 3.6 liter V6 in it, dual overhead cams. Very, very fast car. Handles like a dream. The car's got 101,000 miles on it, and I've owned that car just after it was used when I bought it, but it was pretty well new when I bought it. All I've done to that car, in all the years I've owned it, is I put one coil pack on it. That's it. I put new tires on it, of course. Tires wear out. But it's got the same brakes on it. And the car it just works. And it works every day. We don't drive it as much as we used to. But my wife doesn't drive as much as she used to. But that car is fabulous. I go out there and sit down in that car right now, start it up, fires right up, drives like a dream after being 22 years old. You cannot buy a 2026 Cadillac and expect that kind of longevity out of it. It's not going to happen. I've got a 2007 Suburban with 152,000 miles on it. And that Suburban is fabulous. I love that truck. I cringe every day when I drive it. It just drives like a dream. I cringe every day thinking something's going to happen to this truck and it's going to be catastrophic. But it never did. It just performed every single day flawlessly. Rides like a dream. It gets 17 miles per gallon with a 5.3 V8. It pulls my travel trailer like a champ. It's a 350 horse. The 5.3 is, I think, 350 horsepower, 355 horsepower. It's a great vehicle. Seats 9 people. Everything works in it. So my wife was saying to me the other day, why don't you buy a later model Suburban or a new one? I said, because the one I have works. If I buy a new one, I'm going to get maybe 3 years out of it before the engine goes. For guys like me that love cars, that's a hard blow. I mean, the manufacturers are doing a number on us. You can't afford to keep a car as long as you used to. Well, I'm gonna have to go, guys. My time is running short. I'm gonna have to go, but thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And I'm working on some new material, and hopefully it's something you like to hear, something you like to watch. And I'm also working on acquiring a video editing program that works. So bear with me. Thanks again. God bless you. I wish you the very best. Have a good night.